Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Friday, June the 3rd, years 2022. Let's talk trading. Weekly wrap up, NFP Day. As always, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Looking at the week, first we noticed all the gaps have filled. We are 58 pips below the open, 89 off the low, and 113, 112 now off the high. We can see that we actually broke the low of the previous week. We are in the range, the opening range here for the month. Yesterday was an inside bar. We slightly broke the top, but not much to write home about. NFP was kind of a dud. Look at the range for the day. We're only at about 69 pips of range. We're 970 pips below the yearly open, 393 off of the low. Once again, I mentioned about that inside bar. You can see there we barely broke it by about 3 pips. But there was plenty of inside bar action this week on the daily, weekly, and even on the monthly. As I mentioned, 69 pip range, and you would think it was a holiday. There's not one pair over 100 pips. Those NFP numbers came out. They were pretty much nothing. I don't trust the government to report the numbers. They keep changing how they total. It's just really a mess. Nothing really is making sense when you look at the market, or even if you look at cross markets. Nothing is really making sense. Right now, the pound is in the launch pad. It actually got down to a low of 20 on that last H1 bar, the last hour, then came back up through, hit the launch pad, and it's almost launched right out of it. As you can see, this was a big bar, almost a return bar. So we'll look to see if price does go back to the open of that bar. And that usually happens during NFP. You'll get a big reaction and then it'll come back. Back in the old days, that didn't happen as much, but it does seem to happen a bunch nowadays. Green rats were feasting, as I mentioned before. You can see if you took the smart rat, the latest you were in was 32. The original rat got you in at 40. Either way, there was profit to be had. And I just noticed something. This still has the old 20 setting. I guess I have to update this template. Pivot trading plan, Bambino flex indicator told us to go short. So from the open, you wanted to go short. It did take out today's pivot. Near the pivot, the bias is long, and that's right where we are right now. You can see we didn't get to R1 or S1. As I mentioned, we had taken out the daily pivot, but you see we did take out the monthly pivot. So any of you traders that took me up on that statistic, that the chances of getting 4 in a row were slim and none, you can see we took out that one. For the week, we took out the weekly pivot, and for the day, we took out the daily pivot. As you can see, we still have a bunch of missed pivots this year. Wick zone was in and out of that upper wick zone, so there was a nice short to be had on that last exit. Looking at the various ranges here, so far for the month, we're only at 158 pips. You can see we should at least double that, I would think, for the month. We didn't break the previous month's high. We haven't broken the previous month's low. High to close right now 74. Close to low is 84. So rats were rewarded. High to open was only 16. So buy zone traders got a few pips on the upside. Open the low 142. Buy zone traders on the short side definitely made some pips. Walmart lines past 2 hours. You can see here we're profitable. All this was just waiting for NFP. It wasn't even tradable. But you can see there was a nice move on the NFP there to the downside. Not like the old days, but 10, 20, 30 pips, almost 40 pips. That's nothing to sneeze at. So that was a nice trade. Lower high triggered you on the M5, triggered you in at 31, almost 32. Once again, looking at a 10 pip profit. If you took the M1 lower high, you got in down here around 24, 25, and there was a nice move to the upside there. And in either case, you put your stop down at 19, it wasn't threatened. And as you can see, we're once again in the launch pad, coming off a 2 ball, broke across that 1 ball. Now it's coming back down. And we were talking about taking profit, and during NFP, you really have to have your reaction time down, because the market can move so quick, so many pips on a tick, or points on a tick. It's unreal. In fact, I've been experiencing somewhere up to maybe a half a pip, 5-point slippage. It's just crazy. I've even seen almost a whole pip slippage. Now, it has worked out in my favor sometimes. So what I try to do, if price is moving up and I'm thinking about getting out, I'll hit the exit button, and price will continue my way before it gets out. But it's almost like there's a 2-tick delay or something I've been noticing, where it takes 2 ticks before the trade gets executed. I don't know why that's happening. I don't know if that's just because of my broker, my feed. I'm really not sure what's going on there. And we can take a look here, the monthly or the year-to-date accumulated range, 1594. The range by month, once again, we're only at 158 pips, so we're only 3 days into the month, 3 trading days into the month, so there's a lot more room to be had. Taking a look at some of the trading information here, you can see we're way off of the moving average, the EMA 5 for you squigglies. On the weekly, you can see it's saying that the sellers have strong control. We're below the previous mid, we're below the pivot, lower high, lower low. So if we shift this over to the weekly, and we're definitely below the weekly open. You know, see, and wow, look at that. Uh, this is the launch pad. This is what it likes to do. Um, so I don't know if any of you got that, but that was definitely a nice launch pad trade there. Unfortunately, I'm making this video and I didn't get a chance to take advantage of that. But you can see here on the 1 minute, there was this nice return bar. And you can see here, price came back. If you wonder how you get the crosshairs, just hit Control F. You can see price came back and filled that return bar. And once again, we have a return bar here. So look for price to come back to the open of this bar right here. You can see it already went through the highest low, and that was a 2 or 3 pip trade to be had real quick, coming off of a 3 ball. One thing also to notice about these return bars, you see what happened there, and then it just had momentum followed through. But look how long it took to get back here. So you have to have patience when you're trading return bars, because you'll get a lot of this motion, this up and down. But this is one of those, if you put your like if you were saw it come down here, you put your TP here, you put your stop loss somewhere down here, and then you just wait. You know, let's just say you were going to get in. Let's just say you're going to get in at 30. So you'd have a stop loss, say around maybe 11 pips. Or let's say you get in at 29 and you have a stop loss at 10. Well, the open was 49. So if you were getting in at 29, that's one of those 2-to-1 trades that those the market structure traders like to talk about. So in this particular case, if you were to go short, looking at this return bar, that's maybe another 2-to-1. So we got a couple of minutes left here. I don't know if it's going to hit that return bar in the next 2 minutes. I doubt it. But if you wanted to, if you were scalping, you might look to take profit right around the 50 level here, because as some people would say, this resistance will become support, and just broke it and bounced. So, and you saw how quick that moved. That's why you take those profits when you can. So that's all about profit taking right there. You see, you had the opportunity, and then in a blink of an eye, the market took back 2 or 3 pips. And as stated, you can build an account, 1 or 2 pips at a time. So there's nothing to poo-poo about 1 or 2 pips. So, fellow traders, I hope you're having a profitable day and a profitable month in June. And I hope you have a fun and safe weekend. When you return to your trading terminal, always remember, never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.